Hey guys, what's going on? This is Kyle from Fantasos Media. So starting now, we are doing a kind of behind the scenes look and breakdown into season 3 of the Spectrum series and kind of what went into each individual episode. So for today, we're going to talk about season 3, episode 2, Controlled Chaos, featuring Restavrant. And yes, the band's name is pronounced Restavrant. The V is silent. It's not pronounced Restavrant, even though that's what me and some friends used to call it. It was, oh, we're gonna go see Restavrant tonight. Episode 2, it started a long time ago. The very first day of production was September 14th of 2014. But at the time, I was working for a different creative agency in the video department, and basically, if I was to do this project on Restavrant, it would be kind of a side project, you know, do it when I have the free time, and it didn't really make sense. And then some things happened, and I ended up quitting the agency that I was working at. And I remember, I think the day after I quit, or the day that I quit, I reached out to Troy and I was like, hey man, I'm gonna have some free time. Let's grab lunch and talk about doing a documentary. It's just a passion project. And this also, like, Spectrum wasn't a thing in September of 2014. We had shot Andrew Short's episode the year prior, but that was going to be an experiment of, yes, we are going to monetize it on Vimeo on demand, but it was going to be a 20-minute short film, and that was it. It wasn't going to be part of this thing. There was no idea to do a web series, no nothing. This was all 100% like, cool, we'll do Shorty's thing and monetize it and see if we make any money off of it, and if we don't, well, cool, we tried. And then the Restavrant documentary was going to be its own side thing. So there was no Spectrum series, not even a thought of doing a web series when we started shooting. And so Troy and Tyler, the drummer, and I met at a bar in downtown Long Beach, had lunch and some drinks, and kind of talked about what my vision was, which my vision wasn't super clear. It was more of like, hey, let's, I guess, tell the story and the history of the band. But how we do that, I don't know. But they were on board, and I think a few days later, I'm, unemployed because I quit, and I'm, in their rehearsal space with Troy and Tyler, just shooting them rehearse. And in this episode, you see footage from October of 2014 and December of 2014, January of 2015. Some of the interviews that we used of Troy and Tyler are from interviews we shot in 2015 and 2016. But we don't actually see their faces except for in the interviews we shot in 2018. So there's so much footage that's it's throughout all these years, these 4 years of shooting on and off, and honestly not knowing what the fuck we were gonna do with it. And this project was actually going to release in like late 2015, I believe. And we released a teaser, and then we had some shit go down with some individuals that were involved in the band when Troy originally started it, and that kind of got into some stuff where we had to kind of reevaluate what we were doing. And so then we kind of took a pause for the cause, and then late 2017 when I realized, hey, we're gonna switch the series up and do different things, not just motocross. I met up with Troy for lunch in Torrance, ironically, like right across the street from Factory Honda, at this little Mexican joint, for lunch and some drinks, and talking about doing some music video stuff and obviously the documentary. And I was like, hey man, let's, if you're interested, let's take what we have, let's finish it up, package it, and let's put it as an episode of the web series. So they were into it. Troy was down, and we got back into it in early 2018. Some things that I would change about this episode when I look back at it now. One of them would be Troy's most recent interview in the red jacket outside at the park. All I used was just some diffusion mounted to a C-stand just to soften the light hitting Troy, so it wasn't just this hard midday light, which looked fine. And I would have done more, but being in a public park with an elementary school right next to us and a park like a playground next to us as well, and people coming and going, I didn't want to have this big fucking production. But that diffusion drives me nuts, because if you watch some of the shots in that episode, you know, Troy's moving around and sometimes he's coming in and out of the diffusion, and it's not his fault that he's moving. It's the diffusion was too small and the sun's moving at the same time, so I would have to stop recording, you know, every little bit and kind of move the C-stand and the diffusion around to keep it wrapping all the way around Troy so that he wouldn't be losing the diffusion. But in some of the shots, interview shots, you'll blatantly see, or at least I blatantly see, you know, the sun's moving, and so the diffusion's not softening the sun, so you have these hard light on certain parts of Troy, and it fucking drives me nuts. And then even with Tyler's most recent interview that we shot in the house, I think lighting-wise it looked pretty good. I needed to give Tyler a rim light though, and then the background outside, the sun coming through the window was way too fucking hot, so the background, like the trees and stuff, was so blown out, and I needed probably to use the 6x6 frame with some diffusion, put it up on 2 C-stands, and basically put that so that the sun's hitting it and it's softening the light, hitting the tree, so everything's a little darker, not so harsh, and more even. But I tried to kind of do that with a little diffusion, and then the fucking wind picked up the C-stand and the diffusion and went for a little bit of a ride, as you see in the bloopers. That's part of it. That's part of the living and the learning, especially kind of one-man band documentary style with this web series. A lot of the time I'm kind of by myself doing this, so it's only so much I can do in a limited amount of time. But shooting the live music performance, it was myself, and then Jordan Hoover I put on a second camera, kind of floating in the audience while I was basically on and off stage with the band. I was all shot handheld. Jordan was handheld. Jordan was on the Sony FS700 with 70 to 200 wide open at f2, I think ISO 2000. And then I was on the Red on a 16 mil wide open at 1.8, 1.5, ISO 640 maybe. I'd have to look at the metadata, somewhere around there. And then I had an easy rig attached to the Red, which I will put in the video to show right here. But the easy rig, that was the first time I'd used the easy rig, and that was a complete lifesaver. I moving forward basically want to start saving up money that we get from jobs and buy one of those, because for handheld and I think for gimbal work as well, it's saved my arms. I shot that entire thing 45 minutes handheld with the easy rig without stopping, and after the 45 minutes I remember putting the camera down and I was like, fuck, let's go again. I feel great. Couldn't believe how much of a difference that made. So we rented it off of ShareGrid through King Film USA in Los Angeles. Super friendly staff and cheap rates. So shout out to King Film USA. You guys are badass. Thank you. I will be renting from you again for sure. Okay guys, that's all for episode 2 and breaking it down. If there was more that you would like to hear or know about that I didn't cover or think of, because I'm sure there's shit that I missed. Feel free, comment down below or shoot us a message and ask whatever it is that you want to know about the episode, and happy to answer and get back to you guys. I'll be doing at least 2 more of these for episodes 3 and episodes 4 of the web series, if not more. So if these didn't totally suck ass, which I'm sure they probably did, let us know if you liked it and we'll do more of this.